My name is Lamont Daigle, and I live here in Toronto. I'm originally from New Brunswick. I work with a company called Kangen Water, so I have dealt with health and wellness and spirituality for probably around 12 years, having worked actually with doctors and of all shapes and forms, plastic surgeons, dermatologists, GPs. I've really understood how the doctors in the medical industry have worked with health, which is a little bit of a system that needs a little bit of fixing, and that's all I have to say about that in pharmaceuticals. But in the last 8 years, I've worked a lot with enzymes, probiotics, all the building blocks of the body, including good water, and minerals and vitamins, exercise, breathing, all the good things, meditation that the body needs to work well in this world. And recently, I'd say probably in the last 3 or 4 months, I've discovered Auum oil. And when I first discovered it, I wasn't taking it properly because, having been a chef in the past, I thought I knew what a proper dosage of a ½ teaspoon was. And I didn't know exactly how much that was just by looking at it in a tablespoon and pouring it the way I could just do it free-handed, and I wasn't taking it properly. So I was getting a little bit of a buzz, I was getting a little bit of something going on, but I always attribute that to new things that I take, because the body becomes used to things. It's called tachyphylaxis, where the body becomes used to something, and when you introduce something new, it does a little something different to you. So I thought, oh, this is just the regeneration of something new into my body, a new essential fatty acid, which I really didn't know a whole lot about until the Auum oil came into effect. And I guess it wasn't that a source had come available to me that I thought would be good for me. I had looked at sea buckthorn, I had been looking at plant EFAs for so long with olive oil and coconut oil and flax, hemp. These were all good for me, but when I took this oil, it was a little something different. And then one day, probably around 2 months after I started taking Auum, and it was good, I liked it, but I really wasn't talking about it a whole lot. I went out one weekend to get some supplies to make some cookies with my little girl, and I actually did get a proper set of 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon, ½ teaspoon little spoons to do the measurements with, and I said to myself, wait a second, is this what a ½ teaspoon is? Oh boys, well, I better go back. The first thing I did before we even made the cookies was go upstairs to my desk, grab that bottle of Auum oil, and try a ½ teaspoon under the tongue. And if you've ever seen a movie called Limitless, there's a scene where the guy, this drug that he's taking, hits, and all of a sudden his eyes open and the lights come on and he sees. And that's kind of what happened to me, because I had been doing all these great things, and I'm a pretty healthy guy, but there was something about this oil. And instantly I saw these balls that I juggle with sitting on my desk. And usually I can do about 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and then I drop one. And then I start again, 15, 20 seconds, and I drop one. I instantly grabbed those juggling balls, and I kept going for a minute. It was almost like I could see these balls coming, in every way, shape, or form, and at varying speeds, and I was able to do this no problem. Ever since I've started this, my little girl's really interested in it. Our 20-minute walk to work to school one day, she just couldn't stop asking me about AFAs, and I thought, great, here's my little girl asking me questions at 7 years old about what an EFA is, what's the correct ratio of 6 to 3 omegas, what's EPA, DHA, and DPA, and I'm thinking to myself, she doesn't usually ask questions like this, so I'm going to pay attention to that. I get her on it, she's loving it. She's a little bit funny about the taste, but you know what? She knows what's good for her, and she's taking it, and it's done incredible for her in school, and her mom's on it now, and everybody, all of my practitioners are on it, and they're all doing well with it. So I'm going to keep going with this product and see what it's doing for me from the future. And so far, I'm really impressed. And all the things they're doing with the kids, especially with autism and BHM, the Heart Foundation and stuff. It's all beautiful stuff, because it's all about helping the people, the world, and the kids, and the animals, and we're all there together. So thank you so much.